Greetings, amigos. What a long, crazy year it's been. 2025 has been it's been a grueling year, and we're only in the Tuesday part of the year. Welcome to the Not For Everyone podcast. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight, folks. Bobby and Adam have got a real hidden gem of a movie, Dolph Lundgren's Punisher film, which I haven't seen in decades. That's how long it's been. But I remember it being quite a fun little flick. Let's see if Bobby and Adam enjoyed it. If you want to jump to that film discussion, refer to the show notes. If you want to listen to all the banter and bickering in between, I suggest you strap yourselves in, grab a drink or a snack or two, and, enjoy the show. Enjoy all the fun and tomfoolery that happens when you listen to the Not For Everyone podcast. It is so much fun and excitement, friends.
All right. You got any ideas for a cold open?
We're back. We're back from the dead, beyond
let's
the grave.
get loose.
Let's get into it. Woo, shake it up. Shake that.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Shake that hairdo, Bobby. Oh God, I hate getting older, Bobby. Like I gotta wear these reading glasses to even see my phone. Like when we were eating dinner, Bobby cooked a delicious meatball meal for us, meatballs and some pasta, and I gotta wear glasses to see my food to make sure there's no rat turds.
You wanted to see the glistening meatball going into your mouth.
I did. I want to see it all.
There's something about when you get that that orange oil on top of the sauce that glistens into the meatball.
Can't see that without my
It enhances the experience.
It does. It really does. Flavorfully, visually, it encompasses a lot of the senses there.
I asked my aunt a long time ago how she made her Sunday gravy.
Sunday gravy.
And, she's just I was like, hey, teach me one day. Sit me down and teach me how to make you Sunday gravy. She was just like, it's jarred Emerald Lagasse shit that I buy at the grocery store.
It's Emerald Lagasse shit? That's your family recipe?
I guess so.
Wow. You're like, wow, Emerald. Bam.
Bam.
All right? Fucking bam. I mean, that guy's better than that fucking blonde dude.
Oh, Mario Patoli?
Nah, the other one, the fucking fake blonde dude.
Oh, Guy Fieri?
Yeah.
People unfairly make fun of Guy Fieri.
No, fuck Emerald Lagasse. Fuck
Have you
Guy
ever had
Fieri.
his donkey sauce?
Probably.
The Guy Fieri donkey sauce?
I mean, I went on a cruise and they had his own restaurant there that I ate from three times a day.
You definitely had Guy's donkey sauce.
I definitely had some donkey sauce. Some of Guy Fieri's donkey sauce right down my throat.
I found a recipe online how to make the Guy Fieri
donkey sauce.
You gotta say he's Italian, so you gotta say it Fieri.
Fieri. Do you gotta off a donkey? Is that the donkey sauce?
Sort of.
You must masturbate a mule.
I think it's one of those things. It's not the
seasoning.
official recipe, but someone figured it out.
Oh, it's a secret.
Yeah. You can't. I think that the real donkey sauce, Guy Fieri, actually does put a little of his own personal seed in each.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of Guy in every drop of that donkey sauce.
So I mean,
why the fuck you name it donkey sauce? You can feed this to people. You name it donkey sauce. Come on, there's something more appetizing than donkey sauce.
I'm just gonna Google why is it called donkey sauce.
I don't trust guys named Guy. I don't think I've ever really met in real life a guy named Guy.
I don't think it was a name until 1980.
Nah, dude, Guy goes back. Guy, as they say in the French. They call him.
The Guy Fieri signature sauce is called donkey sauce because of a comment he made about applying sauce to burgers. Fieri told a chef, "You don't have to put sauce on the burgers.
You don't gotta put sauce on a donkey, Guy.
Or you're a jackass. You have to put sauce on the burgers or you're a jackass." Oh, like a donkey. I guess jackass sauce doesn't flow as well.
I do like when out of all those chefs, my favorite has to be the Hell's Kitchen guy.
Yeah, of course.
What's his name?
Simon Powell.
No, not Simon Caliber.
Simon Cowell.
Simon Rex.
No, yeah, I know who. It's fucking
Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay.
I went to his steakhouse in. Fucking first world complaint coming up.
Sure.
I went to his steakhouse in Vegas a few years ago. Solid 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
Did you get the beef Wellington or the risotto?
The beef Wellington. It was very good.
You did get the beef Wellington.
It was very.
I knew it was a beef because that's all he cooks in that fucking show in Hell's Kitchen. It's always a beef Wellington and risotto.
Yeah, and it was very good. However, it was way too expensive for what it was.
Right, it's like a $300 beef Wellington for like a $32 beef Wellington.
And when you get in a situation like that, you want some fancy cocktails full, and you got to get apps. They look at you like you shouldn't be there.
I love when people look at me like I should. I love being an interloper. I really enjoy it.
So donkey sauce is a creamy, garlicky aioli.
He's like, yeah, give it a punch, a donkey punch.
It's
right in the sauce.
You're going back to Emerald now. I like that Wolfgang Puck too.
Yeah, is he? I don't know. I thought he was a Nazi sympathizer.
I mean, he's German.
Yeah, well,
they're all secret Nazi sympathizers.
Name him Wolfgang.
They don't talk about it.
Wolfie. What was the movie where there was a kid named Wolfgang in it? They called him Wolfie. It's a kid's movie from the 80s. What the fuck was that movie? It wasn't Explorers, was it?
Should I ask Google or ChatGPT?
Ask the ChatGPT.
So donkey sauce is creamy, garlicky aioli that contains mayo, mustard, Worcestershire sauce, garlic, salt, and pepper. It's great on burgers, fries, and sandwiches.
80s kids movie with kid named Wolfgang. Answer me, AI. Answer me with your fast answers. You know how much water? Explorers. It was Explorers.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's a good movie. You know how much water AI uses? Like every time that you do an AI search, it uses like 100 gallons of water.
Why?
I don't know. Processing, cooling down processor.
Oh, okay.
It's a real thing. Look it up.
I'm sure that's like saying like every time you fucking wash your car, you use a lot of water. Like water's used in fucking everything.
Yeah. It goes fast.
Yeah.
Goes
cool.
fast.
Well, let's get some AI questions.
Yep, that right there. Looking up that one thing about the film Explorers.
It would be.
I just like burned through 100 gallons of water.
It'd be no
for
different
the
than
world.
just asking a normal search engine, though.
Yeah, but they use the AI now.
Yeah.
The AI, the processing power.
Oh, because they have to branch out to every fucking
everything.
corner of the internet and try to compile some sort of response. Oh, speaking of which, I feel like it's worth mentioning since it did come up just now.
Yeah.
A lot of the fun factoids I learned about
The Punisher.
That I learned about the movie Face Off, specifically John Travolta's career. Last episode, I consulted with AI. I want to correct the record real quick. John Travolta was not considered for the role of Apollo Creed.
Really?
Yeah, I think what it is, I did some digging on how AI could have come up with that.
AI just lies.
So I just want to say, like, if we give you facts, grain of salt, please, people.
Oh, wait, if anybody's been listening this
for factual journalistic coverage
you're
of classic
fucked
movies.
up, dude. You're wrong because we're wrong and we're fucked
and
up.
half the time we're joking and don't acknowledge it too.
There's that.
There is that.
There's
Not
that
half the
sometimes.
time.
There's a lot of times that we do misinform, but there's a lot of times that we say stuff that we believe is true and we're not.
But here's how
wrong.
it came up with it.
It's fine.
So apparently I want to say John Travolta used to work out with Carl Weathers or like was into his like workout plan.
They were butt buddies in the gym.
Something like that.
Dude, Carl Weathers would fuck John Travolta up.
He's definitely the top.
Oh yeah.
They're
Travolta's
both
the
very
bitch
gay,
boy.
by the way.
Carl Weathers is not gay.
Gay as the day is long.
No.
Ask
See,
AI.
That's AI. AI. Was Carl Weathers gay? Weathers was not gay. Wait, his longtime partner Christine, bro.
Mm-hmm. That's called a beard.
You're just making shit up.
Carl
Weathers
call
slayed bro. He slayed.
Maybe he did. But doesn't mean. Hold on. I know who we should
Who are we calling?
consult with.
Are we calling somebody who would know? Who would know? Who would know whether Carl Weathers was a homosexual?
Hey, what's up, dude? Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude, I hear you, bro.
You're on the air right now. You're on the show.
You're on the air, caller. Who is this?
All right, yeah, baby.
It's Darren.
It's Darren. How you
AKA
doing,
John
baby?
Mantrix is
How
on
you
the show.
doing, Johnny Mantrix on the show?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, good to be back.
We got a question for you.
Quick question. You need to settle a score for us. I've heard,
Dude,
and I feel like I've heard it from you, actually.
Yeah.
That's why I figured I'd call you. And Adam wholeheartedly disagrees, and so does AI, apparently.
I disagree.
All right.
Is Carl Weathers a gay man?
Ooh.
You ever heard about Carl Weathers take?
I never have.
I swear
Never have.
I swear it was
I knew it was you
that
just
told me.
making this your dreams, Bobby. You're talking
might
about
have
your
been me
lucid
just-
dreaming, having sex with Carl Weathers.
That's very possible. A very possible explanation.
And now you're streaming it out, trying to fucking misinform the general public. Fake news, Bobby. Fake
Maybe
news.
it's fake news.
Apollo Creed and Rocky had some real close hug moments. You know, there was some very bromance stuff going down with the two of them. So I could see maybe this is a holdover from his youth when he watched Rocky and, you know, saw Apollo and Stallone, you know,
Right.
getting on.
There's the
They're
homoeroticism.
very
of that.
cut, sweaty men in that movie.
Yeah. Does
Yeah, no, they're very,
Predator
they're very
give you a
buff.
boner, Bobby?
They're glistening.
Yeah, I'll just say
Yeah.
this. I'm not into to big dudes, big muscle dudes. I mean, I love both of you. Y'all are good, but not like sexually.
I'm more
you
like
know?
a Dom DeLuise.
But I do love like Predator. Every man glistens in that movie, and you can't help but
Yeah.
respect it. You know,
Yeah, you got to respect
Yeah.
the glisten.
they're all hairless
You do.
and glistening, which is just strange for big burly muscle men, I guess, unless you're in the circuit of
Of gay pornography.
Bodybuilding. Bodybuilding.
Yeah, bodybuilding circuit.
Hey, you know what? I'm not here to judge myself. You might be right. It might be some deeply rooted imagination thing that I was trying to manifest one
It's
day.
fine. It's fine.
I was
Bobby.
in my manifest chair and I was thinking to myself, I really wish Carl Weathers would be a homosexual.
I wish
So
Carl Weathers was gay for me.
I had
That's what
something
Bobby's
to-
thinking. I'm gonna. That's like perfect, like epitaph on your headstone. I wish Carl Weathers was gay for me. If I have any say over your funeral, Bobby, that's getting slipped in.
You just play this recording.
Just on infinite repeat. Like you'll walk by and there's like a little sensor that goes off and it starts you saying.
They're lowering my casket in the ground. It's just me talking about how much I want to have sex with Carl Weathers.
Oh, Weathers. Yeah, he had a good physique though. He was a good-looking dude. He really was.
Y'all.
Yeah. He was built like a fucking. He was like a He-Man action figure in real life. That guy.
Yeah, no, he was a very consummate athlete
Yeah.
before he became an actor.
He played
yeah,
for
he did
the
it.
like the 49ers or something.
Yeah.
I think. We're not big sports.
The Raiders. He played
Not
for the
big
Raiders.
sports guys around here.
Played for the Oakland Raiders. And the BC Lions is a Canadian football. He played Canadian football.
All right. Well, Darren, any last words on Carl Weathers before we get you out of here?
He's a great man.
Thrill me. You know, there's gorillas in these woods.
Mortis, what's that?
It's all on the reflexes.
Chicken's good. I like chicken.
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
I drink your milkshake.
Carpet Day!
You make me want to be a better man.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time!
See you at the party, Richter!
You're listening to the Not For Everyone podcast. Long time no see, everybody. My name is Snobby Bobby. And
Welcome to 2025.
live from the cuck chair is a Snobby Era. What is your
The
name
fuck?
again? It's been a while. What is
Pork chop moon man, bitch.
Oh, yeah, the Pork Chop Moon Man, the lowest common denominator.
The lieutenant of danger.
And the specimen of sexativity.
All these things are
and the Christmas monkey. It's still, as far as I'm concerned, the amount of episodes we've been putting out lately, it's still Christmas season.
Yeah, I mean,
That
that's
said-
just us getting old and dementia setting in.
But we are, can you, I need you to set the record straight though.
Sure.
We are in the heart of darkness, also known as the heart of Patreon recommendation
Season.
season. The heart
like-
of darkness is the name of that season.
Yeah, where we
but,
pick y'all's movies.
Where we pick, where the Patreon subscribers request movies for us to
Yeah,
cover.
what happens with this, just so y'all know, is y'all give requests, and then Bobby and I will bicker over them privately Without y'all know. Just bicker about it. No, fuck that. No, not that one. No, I want to do this. I want to do this.
And I'm like, no, we have to.
Uh-huh.
We have to.
And then sometimes I got to put my foot down and be like, look, I love the fans, but we do like one episode, like, you know, every fucking 3 months. And I want to cover 1989's The Punisher.
So right after this episode, we'll get right back into the Heart of Darkness.
Right back into it, folks. Right back
Heart
into
of
it.
Darkness is coming back.
This is
next
the eye
episode.
of the storm.
This is a Adam appeasement movie, so he would start recording again is what this is. I'm like, what is it going to take to get you to come and sit in your cuck chair and get in front of that microphone for an hour and a half and just record something? Because it's been a lot like herding cats lately. That's fine. I've been busy too. I get it.
Sure.
This is a fun roundabout way to justify the lack of episodes.
I'm just
lately.
letting you blame this all on me, Bobby.
Yeah, that's fine. You fall on the sword this
Sure.
time.
It's all me, y'all.
What's ironic is you have to fall on the sword, but then you were like, fuck the fans. We're doing the Punisher.
If it was Carl Weathers' sword, you'd be falling right on it.
I do want to say, that Vanessa recommended the 90s movie Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think yet again we're going to push horror recommendation off to Halloween time.
Oh, okay.
Because just a little preview for Halloween time this year, I'm thinking Tiny Terrors. Tiny Terrors.
Ooh, Tiny Terrors.
Tiny Terrors. I think Rumpelstiltskin will be a good one.
We can do that cat's eye.
Yeah, you get just that segment.
Nah, I can do the whole thing.
I love
Cat's
Eye's
Eye's great.
Cat's Eye's
Cat's
great.
Eye's fantastic.
And I'm thinking, I don't know.
James Woods.
Fucking The Gate, shit like that.
Yeah, The Gate's got it going
The
on.
Gate
Maybe that
2.
Trilogy of Terror. There's that one with the
Trilogy. I like a little tiny monster.
Puppet Master.
There's always Puppet Master.
We've never covered a Puppet Master movie. We should cover like Puppet Master 4 or something. Just pick one.
I've seen the majority of Puppet Master movies, but I have no idea in what order or like how it all goes together.
So-
you know what I mean? It's just been like sprinkled throughout my life.
Puppet Master predates Toy Story, right? But
Yes,
I've
yes, it
always
does.
had that thing in my head of like the toys come to life when I'm not around.
Ooh, Dolls would be a good one to cover.
Fuck you, Bobby. So anyways, I remember as a child I saw Puppet Master. And I was maybe like 7 or 8. I don't know what year it came out. But that shit scared the fuck out of me. I was worried that the little drill head toy was going to like come into my house and drill my head while I was sleeping.
I think that's kind of the root of the fear with that one.
Yeah.
Drill
probably so.
Guy. What's
Drill
his
Guy.
name? Drill Guy?
I don't fucking drill head, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not big Puppet Master.
Yeah, I don't watch that
fans.
shit often. I mean, we have never covered it. Like, what do you
The
want?
full moon stuff for me is I got to be in the right mood.
Yeah, anything that's involved with Stuart
I
Gordon
like
in
the
any way, shape, or form
I like the
is
Ginger
dog
Dead
shit.
Man with Gary Busey. It's like this is really wild that this series exists. There's 3 of them.
Who's in it?
It's Gary. It's the Ginger Dead Man. It's a
Right.
full moon movie, and it's a claymation stop motion killer gingerbread man voiced by Gary Busey.
Oh, he does the voice of the
And
gingerbread
the third
man?
one's called The Passion of the Crust.
Oh, that's great. That's good. That's real good. We should watch those.
You would probably like it. We'll do a Ginger Dead Man in Halloween. We'll do Rumpelstiltskin. I don't know why we're foreshadowing Halloween in fucking February.
Why
but
are we even talking about this right
because I was telling you that we're going to get to Vanessa's.
now? You know, we're going to
Rumpelstiltskin.
get to like October, and you're going to be like, oh, I never said that.
No. I'll remember.
All right.
I've never come up with a theme for October this early in the year, not once. And then you seem to be on board with it.
Sure, why not? Let's watch Puppet Master and fucking Gary Busey Ginger Dead.
So that's something to look forward to in the fourth quarter of
if we
Not For
make
Everyone
it
podcast.
this long.
If we make it that long. This is the Not For Everyone podcast.
Hey, you know what's cool about doing a podcast, Bobby? They can't just like cancel you off the airwaves.
I mean, they can.
Really?
Yeah. The platforms can choose not to fucking host you if you.
Oh, okay.
And they can also be like, we don't like what, like the algorithm would be like, we don't like what those people are saying, so we're not going to like push up their fucking.
So that's what's been happening with the podcast
for sure.
for the entire time.
It's
AI. It's AI.
No,
It's
we're
a-
super shadow banned on like YouTube and shit.
Really?
Like you can find us, but it's really hard because there's that one girl. Well, it also is relevance because that other podcast called of the same name is
I don't want to talk about that.
far more successful than this one. So when you search you have to put in like Not For Everyone podcast and then the name of the movie or something.
Yeah, I know.
Or movies, and then it will come.
Yeah, I know.
Otherwise, you're going to hear
You
about
just get-
toxic
you-
masculinity.
You
and
get me
like,
mad. Well, this podcast is all about toxic masculinity.
No, like the condemnation of it, and then like what else? Like
I thought Trump got rid of the woke shit already.
Nah, we're only in February.
What the fuck?
Let's quit talking shop and go to movie recap.
Let's go to movie recap. Movie. So you know I love a good like killer plant movie, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, I like seeing anthropomorphic plant people. I really dig it.
Examples?
Breath of Fire 2 was a video game by Capcom. It was a role-playing game in the early 90s.
Or like a piranha plant, if we're talking video
There's
games.
Piranha Plant. Yeah, there's a Piranha Plant. Love me a Piranha Plant.
You love is the Seymour, not Seymour, Audrey?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Audrey's an
considered a piranha plant?
No, I
Is
mean,
piranha plant strictly a Mario Brothers term?
yeah, I don't think anybody else calls it Piranha Plant.
There's got to be a genre name for that, though. It's like a thing.
Like a killer plant. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm talking about killer
like
plants.
poison ivy.
But no, I mean, there was a 1992 video game, right? And one of the characters in your party was this plant person with like
the
thorn whip.
Triffids are the Triffids.
The Triffids, right? But they're not really like people. Like I like them to be like a people, because I want to be a plant in my next life.
I'll see that claim and raise you a does Invasion of the Body Snatchers count.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Those are
plant
anthropomorphic plant people.
Yeah, they're pod people. They're pod people that come out of the pod.
And it's very like
they look
green
like
and
meat.
It's very chlorophyll-y.
Yeah, they look like they're meat, but they're not meat. They're plant. They're fibrous. They're fucking fibrous
One
humans.
of the great Jeff Goldblum vehicles.
It's a good one. And Donnie Sutherland, Leonard Nimoy. Anyways, we're not talking about that.
God, that movie's so fucking good, though.
Sometimes I look at like anthropomorphic plant porno,
Wow, that's a thing.
Yeah, you can fuck a flower. But I watched something because of my love for this whole genre and across all platforms, all mediums. A 1970s jam starring Donald Pleasance called The Mutations.
The Mutations, yes.
The Mutations.
That's one of those ones because I love Donald Pleasance, but it's kind of like I don't know, like he's kind of like a Hammer guy where you're like, there's a lot of deep cut shit that you got to find, you got to seek out. That's been one of those. There's been one of those for me. I've never seen it though. I know of it though.
So it covers two of my bases on things that I like in movies, right? Plant monsters, as I was just describing. It had mad scientists, which I love mad scientists. But the other real kink that it got me on is freaks, like freak show people.
Yeah.
Like bearded ladies and little like alligator skin girls and people that can pop their eyes out of their head, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole subplot, like in the Funhouse, right? There's the whole Carney thing, right? So it's like a Carney horror movie, but it's also like a Frankenstein plant monster horror movie rolled into one. Now
this is late 70s?
Late 70s. And it's got old Tom Baker, that Doctor Who guy. He plays 74, early 70s, mid 70s. He plays like one of the freaks, and he's like the Elephant Man. He's got all these.
That Tom Baker was the Doctor Who that dressed like a hobo.
Yeah, the hobo, like really
like the train hopping Doctor Who.
Yeah. He's got like a big multicolored scarf or some bullshit. I never watched that fucking show.
He's like, for a can of beans, I'll rape your daughter. I don't know who's benefiting more from
I'm
this.
not that kind of nerd, but there are those.
No,
out
he didn't
there.
say that. I was just doing an impression of a hobo.
Okay, gotcha. So, anyways, Donald Pleasance is like kidnapping. He's using the big mongoloid in his army of midgets. There's a lot of great scenes like midgets stalking women. And it's just so creepy. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
like
I love
peeking
a good.
around
I
trees.
love a good stalking midget.
Yeah, it's stalking midgets.
I feel like there's a midget stalking scene in The Howling 2.
There might be.
I think there's like a creepy midget.
Is it the one with? Is that the Howling? With
And then there's the
Carnival one?
midget in the Donald Sutherland one.
Invasion of the Bison.
No, it's like it's from this. It's really good. It's the 70s.
Kelly's Heroes.
Don't look now. Don't look now.
I don't know. Don't look now.
Oh, dude, you should watch that tonight.
There's midget stalking scenes.
I don't want to give it away.
Okay, don't say nothing.
It's just like a cerebral mindfuck, slow burn 70s horror sci-fi called Don't Look Now.
Don't look now.
And not really sci-fi.
So let me give you the plot of this movie. Donald Pleasance, mad scientist, he's trying to create plant-human hybrids because he thinks like a person that could go out in the sun would be better, or vice versa, a stationary plant that could eat people. There's a scene where they have like this big fake plant monster that's just in his lab, and at one point he's like taking a student around and like talking to him, and then he picks up a rabbit and he's petting the rabbit, and he just feeds the rabbit to the giant plant.
I mean, the plants got to eat.
It's fucking awesome. There's a lot of good 70s tits in it.
Oh.
And so he captures these hot chicks and gets them all naked and then injects them with the chlorophyll and to try to turn them into plant monsters. And it does. It turns them into fucked up weird mutants. And then what he does with the fucked up weird mutants is he then turns them over to the freak show. And so the freak show, so that's the cover for it, right? And there's a deal between Donald Pleasant's mad scientist, Dr. Fruitenstein, and fucking Tom Baker, Mongoloid Elephant Man. They have a partnership because Pleasant's going to use his magical science powers from all the genetic experiments
I love
he's doing on
everything
young
you're saying
women.
right now. I am paying attention
So
because I'm
good.
enthralled by
So
this
good.
idea.
And so he says, I'm going to cure your elephant manism, right? Like, just keep bringing me broads to do this. And then, like, you know, he gets found out. But the monsters look great. Like, one of them gets loose at the end, and it's like picking up hobos. And then, like, it's like it's a suit. It's a plastic rubber suit. It's so good, 1970 suit. And it, like, encompasses the hobo and, like, dissolves them like a Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
It's great. It's fucking good.
Great.
It covers a lot of bases.
Everything you just described is interesting to me because you know how like boomers like to talk about how things were like more wholesome and less smutty back in their day.
Right.
I think that's all horseshit.
Oh, it's all horseshit.
It's all horseshit.
They threw in tits as much as they possibly could back in the day.
Yeah, it was the sexual revolution. They were like, hey, you know, let's see how far we can push it. Fucking 70s tits and plant people.
Hell yeah. And midgets.
And midgets.
And they had like real free. There's a real alligator skin lady in
At
it.
least now it's like OnlyFans, a girl that's like trying to put herself through college.
They have those guys that can like pop their eyes like out of their head.
Yeah.
They gave them a lot of screen time too. They gave them lines. I like when they give the midgets lines.
I like a freak movie just in general. Like the original, it's one of the great fucking black and whites.
Freaks.
It's so fucking watchable. It's so watchable.
Yeah.
Love a freak. I like Freaks from the 90s too with Alex Winter.
Yeah, that's a good one. As Keanu Reeves as a dog boy.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
that's a good
right.
one.
I like Tank Girl too.
Yeah, Tank Girl's got
That's a bit of a
anthropomorphic-
freak movie.
But I would like just directors out there make more anthropomorphic plant movies. Oh, another example.
Is that because you're your newfound kink?
It's not newfound. This goes way back, like 92.
That's
You know,
so. Oh, because of your Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
No, because
Here.
of Breath of Fire 2. It was a female plant creature that you had in your party. I was like, damn, I kind of want to fuck that plant bitch.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
You kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Poison Ivy
I don't,
from.
Yeah,
you know?
I get it. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to look at a Venus flytrap and I'm be like, I want a penis flytrap all over that.
But when you put it like that, you kind of do want to. You know?
No.
You still.
No.
My second favorite Godzilla movie is Godzilla versus Biollante, and there's nothing sexual about it, but it's a giant plant
But you made
flower
it sexual.
Godzilla.
Like if you had that movie on a desert island, you could make something happen.
Oh yeah. I
You'd be
could
like,
fuck
what
off
if
to
there
a
were big giant pasty
yeah.
tits in the middle of that green slime vine person? You'd be
Green
like,
slime vine right there. I mean, that's
green
enough to
slime
get
vine.
Get
All
you.
right. Well, Adam likes to have sex with houseplants, and you recommend
The Mutations.
All right.
What'd you watch, Bobby?
I watched what I would honestly consider, if like possibly one of the greatest Disney movies of all time.
Gargoyles.
That was a television show.
Cuckoils.
Cuckoils. That's what you. That's what the other one we forgot. The cuckoil.
Bobby, you're the only cuck in the room.
You're in the cuck chair. There's only one person in the cuck chair.
You can't just hand me a chair and say that's where you sit.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
like-
That's how you treat a cuck.
Can I get a dunce chair? I'm about to switch chairs just to spite you.
Okay, I don't care. What? Okay, so name. What do you think is the greatest Disney movie? And I'll give you a hint. It's not The Apple Dumpling Game.
Moana.
I've never even seen that.
Oh, you liar.
Why would I have seen that?
Aladdin.
No, it's good. You're pretty close. It's
The Black Hole.
It's of that time. It's of the Aladdin times. 1995.
Oh, it's Mulan.
No, 1995's Heavyweights.
The Little Mermaid.
Heavyweights from 1995, directed by Stephen Brill, written
it-
by Judd Apatow, starring Ben Stiller.
What?
Heavyweights.
Is that where he's a fat kid?
It's the Fat Camp movie.
Put it on the screen.
Okay. You want the trailer?
I just want to see a picture of it. I don't want to watch this fucking trailer. Heavyweights.
Heavyweights. Here we go.
Here you go.
Is beautiful.
Chipmunks, download!
And thin isn't it?
This is definitely not sanitary.
For Jerry and his friends,
You never seen
was a
Heavyweights?
dream come true.
Fat kid dream come true.
Until the new
This is the
owner
great Ben Stiller role of his career.
Out of here, mister!
Oh no.
turned it into a nightmare.
Lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle.
Now, after 6 weeks of frustration,
Then we're gonna climb that 1,000-foot rock face over there.
starvation,
There isn't a gummy bear
They're
left
trying to
in
get
this
the cow.
entire camp.
This
and
fat kid's
humiliation.
chasing a live cow.
Nice swing, you fat tubbo.
Everyone having fun? Jerry's out to do something far more important than
Nice
lose
swing,
a few
you fat
pounds.
tubbo.
Plan.
He's out to gain respect.
What is going on?
You can't kidnap the owner of a camp.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the annual.
You've never seen this movie?
No.
Oh, dude.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Dude, it is so fucking funny.
He's just playing the same role he plays in Dodgeball or in most movies.
Well, no, in Dodgeball, he's playing the role he played in Heavyweights.
I guess so.
Heavyweights is the greatest.
Tug Speedman? Is he Tug Speedman?
His name is
Tug
Tony
Speedman.
Perkis.
Tug Speedman was from Tropic Thunder. What is it? Tony Perkis?
Tony Perkis, the Perkis system, Perkisizing. Dude,
wow.
Hold on. Let me just show you one more clip with this great performance of Ben Stiller's.
Are you being sarcastic?
Hey,
No.
who wants to be on TV, huh? That's Kenny the cameraman. Hey there, Kenny. If all goes according to plan, we're going to turn this summer into the #1 weight loss infomercial in the country. You're kidding. Kids, at age 12, I weighed 319 pounds. I had bad skin, low self-esteem, and no self-respect. Now,
Is that
I
Keenan and
eat
Kel?
success for breakfast
Keenan.
Oh.
with skim milk. Pounds are gonna fly, and fat is out of here, mister! And we are gonna do it together!
Oh my God.
Wow.
So, yeah, you got to go watch Heavyweights if you've never seen it. It is my favorite Disney movie.
It's Judd Apatow directed.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's very wholesome. It's still Disney.
I mean, there was a lot of fat jokes.
Yeah, I mean, by today's standard, you probably couldn't get away with it on the Disney side of things. But
No, Trump's changing that.
yeah, well, they have to be like fat non-binaries or something like something like that. Eskimos. I don't know.
Call me by my dead name.
Stop dead naming. Cancel.
No,
culture,
hey,
Adam.
actually, Bobby, stop fucking dead naming me, motherfucker. My name is ATOM. It's pronounced Adam. And spell it right in the goddamn podcast notes, bitch. That's why we're not getting any views.
Dude,
you spell my fucking name wrong.
I'm logged into one of my clients' Google because
changing the fucking subject too, bitch.
I'm logged into one of my clients' Google and I accidentally searched on her Google. Why is it called donkey sauce?
You're on somebody. You're on somebody else's Google right now.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well. Like, yeah, that happened. That's the thing that happened. Anyway, Heavyweights.
Heavyweights.
Funny fat kid. I like a good camp movie. That movie came out. In right at my ripe age of like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And I was a fat kid.
I
mean, yeah, you know what I mean. Well, I'm a fat man now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Kind of. You know what I mean? So I was the target demographic for this movie. Another fat kid movie was one called Angus of a similar time.
No, I don't.
With the chick,
remember
the
that.
little girl from Jurassic Park, all grown up a little bit.
Not interested.
It's about fat kid.
About fat kid
high
movies.
school. What's a good fat? You like a good fat kid movie?
Nah.
You like What's Eating Gilbert Grape? That's more of a fat lady movie.
Nah, not so much. I mean, I'm not.
That's your homework assignment, Adam. In the next episode, I want you to find one fat kid movie you like.
I'm gonna watch Heavyweights.
You should watch. It'll be Heavyweights.
I mean, I might finish it.
It's super funny.
I got really
son
tired of
would
Ben
love it,
Stiller in for years because he just does the same thing.
Well, this is peak that.
Right.
This
was
is the-
95. I
Yeah.
mean, his. What else was he doing around 95?
I feel like when he was a household name was when There's Something About Mary.
And that was after that.
Yeah, I know. But he had like Flirting with Disaster, which is really funny with Patricia Arquette and Josh Brolin.
Okay.
He had the Ben Stiller show. I'm a Ben Stiller fan. You know that, Adam?
I'm finding it out.
I like Meet the Fockers enough.
You ever dream about having sex with him?
Uh,
Oh, you only like guys bigger than you, like Carl Weathers.
all right, let's put that to bed, please.
Put it to bed.
Put it to bed. But I recommend Heavyweights.
Heavyweights now streaming on Disney Plus, probably.
Oh, it stars a young Paul Feig.
Okay, it's enough.
Who directed the celebrated all-female Ghostbusters movie.
Oh,
or he produced it.
Thank God. Thank God for him getting his career started with Heavyweights.
And all those Melissa McCarthy romps.
Thanks, Disney. I watched something that I was talking to Darren about. Red Scorpion.
Oh, yeah.
Red Scorpion is another Dolph Lundgren vehicle. So I watch a lot of Tubi. We talked about Tubi a lot.
Yes.
What I love about it is like, I'll just put on a Dolph Lundgren movie, and then it just shows me, like, when the movie's over at the bottom of the screen, you can flip through, and it's just like 20 Dolph Lundgren movies. Like, they're like, we know you want to watch this guy. Here's more of him, you know?
Sure.
And he made a lot of bad ones, but the shit in the 80s is just all so good. And Red Scorpion is about Dolph Lundgren, and he's a Russian, right? He works for the KG Russian bees or whatever the fuck they are, right? And they're at war.
The KG killer bees.
In Africa. So this whole movie takes place in Africa. And there's these revolutionaries, and they tell him, oh, they're baby eaters and this and that, and you, Red Scorpion, Mr. Tough Guy, you got to infiltrate him, you got to befriend this guy, you got to find the big boss and kill that guy. And he's like, all right. So he goes in there to play as their friend, you know? And he's a badass. He's a total fucking Dolph Lundgren badass, you know? But as he's got to know these people, he's like, wait, these aren't bad people. And then he sees that his Russians are flame-throwing children, dropping bombs on, like, cow fairies, dairy cows and shit, you know?
Fairy cows.
Fairy cows. They're gay, too.
They're gay for Carl
They're
Weathers
like,
as well.
they're very gay for Carl Weathers.
Fairy cows.
So he does a face turn, you know, and he gains their trust, and they find out he's really a spy, and it's got that dude, what's his name, from Blood Simple, the hitman, the old guy, Emmett Walsh,
Giamatti.
It's not Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti.
It's not Paul Giamatti.
Isn't he in Blood Simple?
No,
Francis McDormand.
It's not either of them. It's that other guy. There was a Red Scorpion too.
Francis McDormand,
Emmett Walsh.
an attractive woman. I liked her in Darkman.
Yeah, I mean,
she's like kind of mom hot.
Yeah. I mean, in her prime, I'd hit it.
Yeah, I mean,
Blood Simple, she wasn't unattractive.
She's just very
Emmett Walsh, who was amazing in Blood Simple as a hitman. He plays like an investigative journalist that's an American. He's like, I don't trust this Rusky, and he's like friends with the revolutionaries. Mm-hmm. So anyways, it turns out that Red Scorpion turns to be the good guy side, and he's like fucking shooting people with rocket launchers and fucking miniguns and all sorts of badassness. I mean, you know, it was of that age.
Dolph Lundgren, the longer we do this show, Dolph Lundgren is starting to creep into like all times.
Dolph's the fucking man.
Not for everyone, like Mount Rushmore type. I wouldn't say he's Mount Rushmore, but he's like on the list, right?
He's Mount Rushmore of not for everyone would encompass hundreds of heads, you know?
Right.
And Dolph would be
Kurt Russell,
Nick Cage.
Maybe Danzig.
Nick Cage, Kurt Russell. Nah, because we've had to cover Danzig's movies. You know,
he lost that a long time ago.
He lost that privilege. Like I'll put a Misfit skull up there.
David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't need to talk about this.
So, anyways, Red Scorpion. It's on Tubi. You should watch that. She's just boom, boom, bang, bang, blows shit up.
Yeah, Red Scorpion. I like. I guess my point in bringing all this up is Dolph Lundgren's really starting to grow on me between Dark Angel, of course, Masters of the Universe, Rocky IV, The Punisher, the Expendables movies, and now you recommend
Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Showdown. We watched that recently, and now you recommend Red Scorpion.
Red Scorpion.
So he's a turncoat on the communists.
Yeah,
right?
he's a turncoats on the commies. Yeah.
So I love a good 80s Cold War propaganda film.
I mean, it's Rambo 3-ish. It's very Rambo 3-ish, you know?
This film is dedicated to the freedom fighters of the Mujahideen.
But it's in Africa.
Right.
So it's not the Middle East, it's Africa.
So it's not people. Well, it's probably people we're bombing now, though, anyways.
Yeah,
we're probably drone striking them as we speak.
Wait, is that nation third world? Bomb it. That's how we roll.
Like,
US of A.
That's why you just go back and watch every like tier 2 fucking 80s action movie and be like, okay, we're probably destroying that regime now.
Oh yeah, right now. Right, the regime, the last regime we put in, we were going to destroy. Oh yeah, that was the whole thing.
All the Latin American countries, those are all fucking
Oh yeah. We've already done our damage there. We're still reaping the benefits.
Can't have communism.
Can't stop communism. So what'd you watch, Bobby? You got anything else?
I watched a documentary called Boom, a film about the Sonics. You familiar with the Sonics, Adam?
They're the Seattle basketball team.
They are from Seattle.
The Supersonics.
No, not those Supersonics. Not the Ichiro Suzuki Supersonics.
There was a trilogy of films that you could call the Sonics. They all start a hedgehog. Is that what you're talking about?
No. This is not. This has no hedgehogs.
Okay.
It's the Sonics were a very
restaurant chain.
revered garage rock band from Seattle.
I mean, I guess not that revered.
Well, no, you don't like cool shit. That's why you've never heard of them.
I mean, it has nothing to do with liking cool
but
shit.
They're known for kind of being kind of predecessor. I would say the Sonics are to punk rock as Blue Cheer is to heavy metal.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
No.
Yeah, you don't like cool shit. But it's one of those fun ones where the Sonics had some fairly marginal success, especially locally, and then they all kind of quit and got day jobs and shit, and then their appreciation and reverence snowballed over the years, and they all kind of come out of their day jobs to do some reunion shows and stuff like that. You'd like them, though. It's wild rock and roll music from the late 60s. I recommend the band The Sonics and the film Boom, a film about the Sonics.
The Sonics, huh? I'll put them in my playlist. I'm gonna give them a little listen. So I got one more. Or we should go straight to the movie.
You go ahead.
What else should I talk about? I watched Pussy Island, which was good.
What is? Oh yeah,
Blink Twice.
Yeah, what's his name was?
It's good. Austin's already talked about it in
Simple Austin. What's his name? Was talking about that.
I didn't say what's his name. So.
I did.
Oh yeah. Did I tell you about Season of the Witch?
The Donovan song?
No. So I love me a shitty Nick Cage movie.
Oh yeah, I love Season of the Witch.
Yeah. So this is a movie about Nick Cage and his bosom buddy Ron Perlman.
When I look out my window.
They're crusaders. They're in the Crusades.
Yeah.
And they're out there for decades just fucking shit up, right? And then one day they're just killing children and women, and they're like, dude, this isn't good. We're not the good guys. And they like tell it to the guy who leads them as like some chaplain of the Lord or whatever. He's like,
strange.
Speak for the Lord. And so Nick Cage and Ron Perlman are like, fuck y'all, we're out of here. And then they're riding across wherever they're at.
On a horse.
They're on horses. It's medievally times, the Crusades times, you know?
The Dark Ages.
And there's a witch. There's a witch that's out and about. And
oh no.
So these two crusaders are they've captured the witch. They're gonna take this witch to the wizard school.
Now this is different than the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah. This is more gory.
This is not the same franchise.
I don't think they're affiliated. It might be a prequel to National Treasure, but it's a totally different country, so that doesn't really make sense.
A prequel to National Treasure. Oh yeah, the Crusades.
The Crusades, the National Treasures. Right.
Esoteric occultism.
I think there might have been like Easter eggs.
That's
for
like
Season
one of the
Witch.
worst like Reddit fan theories ever.
In National Treasure?
Actually, Season of the Witch is a prequel to the National Treasure series.
Might be.
And you make like an 80-page argument for it.
So they're fighting, they got to fight this witch, and then they got to fight these demons, and then there's really bad CGI monsters at the end. But the whole time, the whole point of the movie is like they're transporting this witch, and this witch is like fucking with them.
This is like 2011-ish?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that was a bad era for CGI.
It really was. And the CGI does not hold up, but it's so fun.
It's like they did that from like 2008 to like 2012. There was that era of like the Clash of the Titans and like Beowulf.
It's like PlayStation 1 graphics. Man.
Yeah.
They were terrible. Terrible.
I'm a total fan of them remastering these like early 2000s video games and re-releasing them.
Making them good.
I mean, I'll fucking play them.
I'll tell you this much.
There's something interesting about how a video game reboot is so much more acceptable than a movie reboot.
Yeah. Did you play that Indiana Jones Wolfenstein game yet?
I don't have a PS5.
I think it's only on Xbox now.
I don't even have that.
Yeah,
I have a Switch. Now I got to contemplate between the Switch 2 that's coming out in a couple months or a PS5. Because one of them's coming in this house.
PS5, bro.
Yeah, that's probably the move.
Look, I love Nintendo, but there's just more games on the PS5.
Yeah.
So many fucking games. Play the fucking Spider-Man games. Dude,
have you seen the
badass.
Have you seen the trailer for the Wolverine game?
Yep. By the people that made the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, those are fucking
sick nasty.
That's the kind of shit that moves the system into my house.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you would lose your dick over those Spider-Man.
You know
games.
what we're due for is another one of those Lord of the Rings Shadows of Mordor games.
I never really got into them.
Oh, I played through both of those multiple times.
It just
I just love being able.
Hokey?
I love like open world choose how to engage your enemy kind of shit. Like you could go completely stealth on that game.
But they've been able to do that since Skyrim. Like that's not new.
Yeah, but Skyrim's like, hey, fucking fetch a pail of water for the milkmaid, and then like there's all those stupid fucking or like The Witcher. I've been playing The Witcher 3 again. And it's like get the old lady's pan out of the locked cabin, and I'm like, fuck, dude, what are we doing here?
Why am I doing?
Why am I doing this? Great game.
Well, somebody's telling me about the RoboCop video game, right? Because they made that new gen RoboCop first-person shooter or whatever. And my buddy, who's Sean, who's like the biggest RoboCop fan I've ever met. Like he watches RoboCop 1 and 2.
Does he watch the TV show?
He's seen it. But he'll watch the first 2 movies like every couple of like he'll have RoboCop playing just in his earplugs while he's working. You know what I mean?
I do that with Spaceballs.
Yeah, right.
I really do.
So he got that RoboCop game, and there's a level where it's like, go walk around the office, RoboCop, and have everybody in the office sign a birthday card for somebody. Like, that's a legitimate fucking mission in that game. I'm like, fuck
They're trying to put you in the role of the character.
No, if I'm RoboCop, I'm going to be fucking shooting people. That's it. I just want to be blam, blam, blamity, blam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, blam, blam, thank you, ma'am. I'm RoboCop. Like, that shit's...
Yeah. Trust
shock.
me, I am not a fan of mindless Aaron running missions, nor am I a fan of bloated cutscenes or any of that shit.
Video games peaked at the Super Nintendo.
Very strong case for that.
Yeah.
Because here's why I think
94, it never got better in 94.
Well, I think games got better on the 64. Okay.
Sure.
But
graphically,
have you tried to play GoldenEye lately?
Oh, it's almost
Have you
unplayable.
tried to play Zelda 64 lately?
No.
Yeah, it's rough.
Then hold up.
It does hold up. You know why it's rough more than anything is the control. The control has far gotten better. Like if they were remastered, it'd be amazing. But I'm just saying, like I got real excited when they released both GoldenEye and
you have to totally change like the
you have to the D-pad and shit needs to be recalibrated and all that shit. It's a pain in the ass.
But they should just start like that, or at least give you instructions.
But as much as I played, dude, I played hours of GoldenEye by myself and with people, like hours of it. And I used to try to do the fucking facility mission over and over again without fucking like anyone like completely stealth shit like that.
Right.
You start the mission over as soon as someone sees you and try again. Anyway, the point is like for the amount of time I put into those fucking games, like it's really weird how I can get so excited to play them again. I'm just like, I don't, you know.
You know what does hold up? Those fucking F-Zero games.
I mean, racing games are racing game.
They're still badass.
Except for like, what is it? RC
Pro-Am.
RC Pro-Am. That's a little rough.
It's a little rough around the collar. What did you watch, Bobby?
Last one I got is 1983's Nicolas Cage starring first breakout role.
Double Nick Cage.
First breakout role, Valley Girl.
Valley Girl,
with what's her name?
Wait, what year is that?
Deborah Foreman and E.G. Daly.
What year is that?
83.
Oh, 83, that is early. Right.
So he had done like the brief kind of appearance in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I think maybe some other quick credits between then, and then like this was, and they were like, we're going to make you a star, kid. We're going to put you in Valley Girl, which is a fucking term made popular by the Frank Zappa song
Valley Girl
in like a few years before. Have you not seen Valley Girl?
I don't think I have.
Oh, it's a great kind of Romeo and Juliet kind of class love story thing, where it's a girl from the valley known as the San Fernando Valley, where it's all mall culture, rich kids, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And he's from the other side of the tracks. He's from Hollywood. And he ends up at her party, one of her friends' parties. They meet. They'd seen each other on the beach here and there.
Yeah.
And they have a real strong young man love connection.
Who plays about Deborah Foreman?
But then it turns into a whole like, I can't be with you because I live in the valley, which is over the hill from where you live.
I can't go over that hill.
But what's interesting is it's not her parents foreboding it, because they're like ex-hippie, like we didn't sell out, we bought in, man. It's kind of like Repo Man in that sense. It's kind of like a female. It's like a girl's Repo Man.
Valley Girl is like a female Repo Man movie?
I mean, they're cousins.
I love Repo
They're
Man.
like close cousins. It's not the same genre or anything, but it reminds me a lot of Repo Man, just a more feminine Repo Man of that era of the 80s, at least.
So, okay,
in California.
Let's talk about Nicolas Cage in the early 80s, right? He did
like how he comes up on every episode now.
He did Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? Which is classic. The next film he was in before Valley Girl was The Outsiders. He was in the fucking Outsiders.
Yeah, he was in Rumblefish, too.
And then he was in Rumblefish.
Yeah.
And then he was in Cotton Club.
Then Raising Arizona.
Right. Like, this dude had a pretty illustrious career. I mean, granted, Coppola's his fucking uncle.
I mean, that helps.
He's in 3 Coppola movies. And his role in the Cotton Club is a pretty big role. Have you seen the Cotton Club?
And I've asked multiple ladies, like, is he an attractive man? And most of them are like, not really.
He's just a hell of an actor.
He's just got the Riz.
He's got that fucking Riz.
He's the original Rizzler.
He just oozes Riz.
He's got Riz.
So I was going to talk about the Cotton Club one. Have you heard Have you seen the Cotton Club?
Hold on a second. We're not done talking about Valley Girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Go back to that.
Yeah, I think you should watch it. Okay.
Yeah. So watch that. But yeah, I watched the Cotton Club the other day. I didn't even know that movie existed. It's Francis Ford Coppola with like a fucking Prohibition era gangster movie with tap dancing.
I've never seen it before.
It's fucking amazing, dude. It is fucking amazing. Like, it's a brilliant movie. It's got James Remar.
And Nick Cage is in
as
this?
Dutch Schultz. What?
Nick Cage is in it?
Yeah. Nick Cage is like dude, this is the only movie I've ever seen Richard Gere in where I'm like, you're kind of a badass, Richard Gere. It's Richard Gere and Gregory Hines. It's on like Freevee or something on Prime right now.
What happened to Gregory Hines?
He's dead. But no, man, the Cotton Club's great. If we're gonna keep going with Nick Cage plays like a wannabe gangster that goes gangster, in the Prohibition era. It's got Bob Hoskins in it as a fucking badass mobster.
Love a Bob Hoskins movie.
It's directed again. James Remar.
Here comes Smee.
Bob Hoskins.
Smee.
Also, hot ass Diane Lane. Like, early Diane Lane.
Put your faces on, girls. Here comes Shmee.
Imagine Diane Lane. It's fucking Hook, bro.
Of course.
Jesus. Imagine Diane Lane before Streets of Fire. You know what I mean? It's good. So, the Cotton Club.
She's pretty young in that one. That's like The Outsiders. She's The Outsiders, too.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't.
She's a little Cherry darling.
She's a hottie.
What's her name? Cherry something.
Cherry Valance.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
So anyway,
Nick Cage. That's a solid movie recap we just got through. A lot of Nick Cage, a lot of adventures, a lot of good music chat.
We've been talking about Kirk
tonight. A lot
of
good Fat Kids, a lot of good Carl Weathers isn't gay, but I wish he was references. This is a solid episode for us being out so long. Let's take a little break real quick, and then we'll come back and get into the 1989 action classic starring Dolph Lundgren, The Punisher.
The Punisher. 1989.
All right, we're back from our break, and it's time to talk about 1989's The Punisher. Adam, what is the IMDb description of this film?
When Frank Castle's family is murdered by criminals, he wages war on crime as a vigilante assassin known only as The Punisher.
Put it on the screen, I can see it.
If society won't punish the guilty, he will.
You see this board here? Every time he kills somebody, I put a red pin in it. So far, the only thing that I've got to show for it is these little calling cards here, and a whole bunch of these.
Now let me tell you something about this Punisher. If he ever shows up within 1,000 yards of me, you'll find out what the word punished really means.
He defends the innocent. But if you're guilty, he gives no warning and shows no mercy.
No mercy.
What the hell is this?
Trouble.
Dolph Lundgren, Louis Gossett Jr.
Mr. P, happy hunting.
The Punisher. Justice with a vengeance.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
1989 is The Punisher. That gets me pumped to not only watch The Punisher again, as if I'd never seen it before, but also to talk about The Punisher on this episode of this episode of the Not for Everyone. You're listening to the Not for Everyone podcast. We're here to talk about 1989's The Punisher, starring the great Dolph Lundgren. I got to say, we covered Dark Angel a few months ago, and
you're a little louder. At least not in my,
check 1 2.
There you are. There you are.
We covered Dark Angel a little while ago,
and we covered Showdown Little Tokyo.
Well, we didn't cover it; we watched it.
Oh, okay.
No, what I was going to say is this is another Brunette Era.
Brunette Era. I think I almost prefer Brunette Era Dolph Lundgren because I've always loved I Come in Peace, and I've always loved The Punisher.
Yeah.
Now this movie, it means a lot to me. You know, as a comic book nerd from about 84, 85.
It was one of the only. This is when I was into comic books. And it was one of the only movie properties of Marvel, at least, like sort of, at least. Yeah, we'll get into that, right?
Sure.
The point is, like, seeing Marvel characters on the screen was few and far between. There was a really shitty Captain America movie.
Yep.
There's a really shitty Spider-Man movie.
Yep, it was a really shitty Fantastic Four movie.
Well, that was never the
Corman one.
That never was released, though.
Whatever.
It looks awesome, too.
There's the shitty fucking Nick Fury movie with David Hasselhoff.
But when these movies would be on TV, I would go out of my way to make sure I watch. Like, even if it was like an old episode of The Incredible Hulk, I was like, let's fucking, I'm not doing anything.
Let's fucking go.
We're watching anything.
Say.
Anytime you can see Marvel characters on the screen in the late 80s, early 90s.
There was a shitty Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever see the Nick Fury with David Hasselhoff?
It was dog shit.
It was?
It was like made for TV. It was terrible. It was fucking terrible.
I think I've told you this, but what's the one about the secret? What's the agency? There's the show.
Agents
Shield. My mom
Shield.
watches Shield and she has no idea. It's like a superhero show.
Really?
Yeah, she's like, oh, it's just a good like intelligence crime show.
It's like, no, it's just,
no. I think here comes the Black Panther.
Right? Yeah, it's like that's the Winter Soldier, Mom. That's they're talking about Thor right now, Mom. Like just
the Norse god.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a hairy time because I feel like this, and I could be wrong. I'm speculating here. I feel like the Batman thing in '89, the same year, was very successful.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder,
someone was
like,
going, this
how
is going
much
to be the new thing. What do we got? What can we dip our toe in with this?
But I don't know how much, like, how long it takes to shoot the movie, or like whether this planning for this started after they knew Batman was happening.
Sure, I think there is things like that do happen. Or like, well, they're doing a Batman movie with Michael Keaton.
Let's do a Punisher movie
about it. And they start filming movies like this.
Well,
at the
I
same
love
time.
when stuff like this happens. When they're like, "Look, let's take this Marvel character and his whole superpower is guns, and let's just make a badass '80s action movie with him as the Punisher."
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The first Marvel character movie was Swamp Thing.
Really? Yeah, probably so.
I can't think of any. I don't know. That sounds about right, though.
It's he wasn't. It wasn't Iron Man.
No.
Tell you that much.
It wasn't Adam Warlock.
But they already had like the Incredible Hulk TV show and shit.
That's true.
So no, Swamp Thing is actually DC.
Oh, you're right.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Man Thing.
Man Thing, different one.
Wow.
Different one.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was the first.
Fuck myself.
Like big budget. Like Marvel movie, really. It kind of was,
big budget and heavy.
It was supposed to be in the theaters, and I remember hearing about this coming out, and I was super excited because I'm like 8 or 9 years old. I'm like, holy shit, they're making a Punisher movie. And I remember maybe it was after it came out, I had heard of it. I don't know, but it was back then. But this was like one of those holy grail, like hard to find fucking movies. Like we had to go to like a video store in San Antonio to find it.
Why did they not release it in the theaters in the United States?
It was New World Pictures. That made some shit back in the day.
I feel like this was on like Cinemax or one of those premium channels during the day sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure it was. But the movie studio that was producing it, New World Pictures, which was founded by Roger Corman, by the way, it went kapooty. It went bankrupt. So it fell out right as they were producing this movie, and so it never got any kind of theatrical release. It just came out like a year later, straight to VHS, as it were, at the time.
I definitely remember seeing the VHS at the video store.
Yes.
And being like, man, there's a lot of good properties that Marvel has that they could really put some budget behind one day and do wide releases. But for whatever reason, at this time, it was The Punisher.
Well, New World Pictures, they put out
they probably couldn't
Deathstalker. They put out Children of the Corn. They put up Suburbia.
I love Deathstalker.
They made Chud, so they did release a lot of good ones. It was just this was like at the very end, you know.
Yeah, I bet the licensing for the Punisher wasn't all that expensive either.
There
and it was vigilante fever in the late 80s, right?
Yeah.
Well, I always let me see if you agree with this, because I always thought of the Punisher as Charles Bronson Death Wish meets Batman, basically.
Kind of,
because he's got gadgets. He's got like little like obviously the Charles Bronson thing is his family got killed and now he's in a vengeance streak to be a one-man crime fighting army, right? But the Batman thing, he has a British familiar. He has gadgets, which is the little remote control truck that has the whiskey on it that attracts the British familiar.
Okay, sure.
Just like Alfred,
right?
He's Batman. He lives in the shadows.
I mean,
Now,
if we're being honest, dude, like the Punisher has always been kind of middle class Batman.
Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly what he is.
Yeah. Now he's ex-Marine and an ex-cop. Is that correct?
So he was an ex-Marine in most stuff. When he was introduced, he was an ex-Marine,
like special forces type. shit.
Yeah. Like canonically in the comic books, he was originally a Vietnam vet. You know what I mean?
And then they made him into like an Iraq war vet.
Yeah, later on, and in the movie, this movie in particular, he was a police officer. He was a cop. He was a cop. He was a good cop. Now there's another cut of this movie,
but he could have been ex-military.
Yeah, he was ex-military too. Yeah, he would definitely. There's scenes of him in his house of him in full military uniform, but he was a cop. And so there's a cut of this movie, like a work edit or something, and it's online. I watched it, and the first 15 minutes is before the Punisher we just watched began.
Origin story.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. It's like buddy cop movie. It's like, you know, him and Lou Gossett are just buddying around, and like totally different personality. It actually is the scene that covers the bust that the girl's talking about. She's like, I was the hooker. It's like they're busting Dino Moretti.
Yeah.
So it has that whole scene. And then Dino Moretti is the one that kills his family. Like he bombs the car.
See,
and Frank was supposed to be there. I was
ask you about this. So in both in the comics and in this movie, the origin, what pushes the Punisher over the edge is that his family witnesses a murder, a mob murder, right?
And they killed him too.
And they killed the family.
Yeah.
They thought they killed him.
Well, yeah, there's either a murder was happening at the time, right? And they got caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
Depending on which media
how you want to
retcon. Right. Or like they saw the murder in the park and they shot them too. Usually it's in a park and they get shot down by the mob.
Yeah, that's what happens in parks.
And he gets shot but doesn't die. And then he gets out of his fucking coma or whatever. He's like, I'm going to murder them all.
You mess with the wrong Austrian man or the fuck.
Well, in this case, yeah. So they didn't die in a park. They didn't get shot. They got blowed up. And they didn't get blowed up because they saw a murder on accident. It's because Frank Castle, the cop, was on their ass. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Dom, what's the villain, the Italian mafioso? What I like about this is I feel like the Punisher might be the first time that comics really started getting dark. Because his first appearance was in like a regular like Bronze Era fucking Spider-Man comic, right? And then like the anti-hero was very much, you know, the late 70s, you had like Taxi Driver, you had fucking Death Wish, you had stuff like Hardcore with George C. Like that was a thing, the gritty anti-hero. And I feel like that comics kind of paralleled that a little bit because eventually you get the Punisher in the late 70s and then you also get the turn of the Frank Miller style or Batman comes along. I'd say Daredevil may be an anti-hero. And then you get stuff like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know?
You know, the origin of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is
based on Daredevil.
Well, it's the same chemical spill that gave Daredevil his powers.
Yes.
That was the ooze.
I'm familiar.
You knew that.
Yeah, so... But the Punisher is a movie starring Dolph Lundgren. They rolled the dice on with the licensing. Did not get released in the United States.
It had nothing to do with the credit of the movie. It was just the timing on when New World Pictures went belly up.
Now I do want to talk about the marketing flub of this movie.
Sure.
But before we do that, I want to hear a little bit more about the Punisher in general because you're the expert on the Punisher.
Sure.
So his villains are Jigsaw.
This Jigsaw, you might remember him from the Punisher television show and Punisher Warzone, the excellent movie.
Nomad.
No. Nomad was not that was Captain America.
Hawkman.
The Hawkman was in DC. It's not even like that at all.
So he was mob. So it's like Frank Stallone.
Yeah, Frank Stallone was Punisher's main nemesis.
What were the Punisher's nemesis? What's the Green Goblin of Punisher?
The Green Goblin of the Punisher would have to be Bullseye, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Because basically, not Bullseye, I'm sorry, Jigsaw. He does fight Bullseye. He fights Kingpin. Here's the thing about Punisher villains. They all just die. He just kills them. He just
he's the
straight up
Punisher.
murders them. And usually it's just him fighting the mob. Like, he's not fighting these super villains per se.
He's not fighting Galactus.
They've done a lot of dumb shit with him in the comics over time. There was a time where they're like, we gotta reinvent the Punisher, so they killed him, and then he got powers from God or the devil, and he could fly and shoot lasers.
Some, Ghost Rider kind
some
of stuff.
early 90s dumb bullshit,
They're
right?
like, we need to give him X-ray vision.
Right. And so they ditched that. And then Garth Ennis got on the Punisher.
Oh, good.
And it was Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon. It was the same creative team as Preacher.
I need to read this.
Yes. And they made a graphic novel called Welcome Back, Frank, or the first whatever. There's like a 30, 40 issue run.
Is this the revered arc of the Punisher, like the most celebrated one?
Yeah, this one is. But it's hard to find. It's weird. I don't know why they don't have them all released. I've bought them all individually as issues, and They don't have
a graphic novel.
They have the first 12 issues. It's called Welcome Back, Frank, and it's very famous. It's very lauded. Now, after that, in the comics, it was getting even more grittier and hardcore, harder edge, right? So they did something called Punisher Max. Marvel released an imprint kind of like Vertigo with DC, where there's like adult comics. And so they had Punisher stories, but they were gory as fuck. And I mean like really gory. Real gory. And they were also still written by Garth Ennis. So that continued it on. Now, a lot of the shit in the movies, like the Tom Jane Punisher movie, that shit comes straight from Garth Ennis. Like his stories. Like and Warzone too. A lot of those characters, it's all
Tom
stuff
Jane's the
from
one
Garth
with
Ennis.
John Travolta.
Yeah.
But Warzone's the preferred one of all those.
Out of those, yeah. And I mean, you got to think like the one with Tom Jane, it has Kevin Nash in it as the Russian.
The one with Thomas Jane has fucking Thomas Jane in it as the Punisher.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. They take some liberties, but it's not bad.
So, okay, let's just do this real quick. You got Dolph Lundgren, you got Thomas Jane, you have, what's his name, Cowell?
What?
What's the Warzone guy?
Ray Stevenson.
Oh,
rest in peace, Ray.
Ray Stevenson, and then you have fucking, what's his name?
Bernthal.
Walking Dead guy.
Yeah, John Bernthal. And the Punisher on the TV show is fucking badass.
I think all of them are solid.
They're all solid. Out of all of them, I'd say the least is Tom Jane. But I can't say that because
it's Tom Jane.
Tom Jane's the fucking man. Now, there was something that was released that was not official canon, but they had Tom Jane and Ron Perlman in like a 10-minute Punisher short called Dirty Laundry. And it's just like this dude's doing his laundry and some thugs show up and then he fucks those thugs up, you know?
It was a proof of concept.
Right. And then, well, at the end of it, like he's grabbing his stuff out of the fucking laundry and it's a Punisher t-shirt. And like, that's the fuck. It was Tom Jane the whole time, you know? It's the fucking Punisher.
Yeah.
So he's good. They're all good. They're all good. They're all different. Ray Stevenson, though, man.
He even looks like Frank Castle.
Dude, yeah.
Warzone's fucking badass. I started that today. I haven't finished it, but after watching 1989's The Punisher, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to watch Warzone. This is the one that's like that's the cult movie. Like, there's a very niche amount of people that have seen it, and fucking most people love it.
Right.
And of what I've seen so far, I'm going to recommend it. Right off the bat.
Oh yeah, I watch all the Punisher. Watch anything with the Punisher, y'all. Watch it. Watch the Daredevil show that has a Punisher in it. Because when the Punisher's on the Daredevil show,
that's Berthal too.
Berthal. Well, there's a new Daredevil show coming out like next week on Disney Plus. That's
Great.
a continuation of the old Daredevil TV show.
I know.
And it's gonna have the Punisher in it and Kingpin. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna watch it.
So that
it's got
what is that kind of part of the Marvel universe? Is there a name for that where it's the Daredevil? Luke Cage is kind of part of that circle.
It was the Netflix shit, and they had it
Daredevil.
was like the Defenders and Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist.
It's all that like urban dark, fucking grime Marvel is what I like to call it.
Grime Marvel. They used to call it Marvel Knights back.
Marvel
in the day.
Knights, yeah, that's what I was looking for
back in the day.
But anyway, let's talk about the movie at hand. One of the big flubs of the marketing with this movie is, for whatever reason, maybe Adam can enlighten us on the reasons, but they did not. The closest thing you see to the classic iconic Punisher logo,
the skull,
is the skull on his knife hand.
Yeah, he doesn't have a skull on his shirt. For some reason, they couldn't fit into the budget. Maybe they spent too much money on Lou Gossett.
It was a budgeting thing?
To give him a t-shirt with a fucking skull. No, it wasn't a budgeting thing.
It was a stupid decision.
It was a bad decision. And I always thought that the rumor was that it was Marvel. Marvel said no. And I was like, that's so weird, right?
Yeah.
And then I read recently the director, whatever his name is, the director of Dead Heat that we also watched.
Yeah.
He said that And the Blu-ray commentary is like, yeah, that was just a missed opportunity. We didn't think it looked good with him with the skull on the chest, but now that we've looked at it years later, like there is no reason that we didn't put the skull. There's no good reason.
This is Mark Goldblatt, the director.
Yeah.
He's a famous editor. He's edited some fucking great movies, mostly known as an editor, it looks like. But he has also directed The Punisher, Dead Heat, and one episode of Erie, Indiana.
Well, I'll say this: the editing in the Punisher films, top notch.
I would actually agree because those are like it's a very like for what it is, it's a very well executed movie.
Yeah,
there's nothing to it, but it's very competent. And like here's what I want to mention that I thought was interesting about the plot in general. Maybe this is kind of on par with what happens in the comics. So the Punisher, if you don't know, his family was killed. He morphs and he is like you hear like the dad say things like, I die for my fucking kids. I go to prison for my kids.
Right. It's true. Yeah.
It's like the fucking incarnate archetype of that gone vigilante, basically. Yeah. And he happens to have like prime time fucking military training.
Extensive military training.
Yeah. So that's the character, right? So his whole thing is, I am a one-man army against fucking crime in this city.
Yeah.
And you get into the mafia stuff. So what's interesting is he's offed so many people over the years within the mafia that the entire organization is becoming weakened.
Yeah.
So there's a power vacuum there. You get the fucking Yakuza
show
to buy them out or to fucking shut them down. There's some proposals on the table, but there's one line in particular. One of the little henchmen goes like, I'm not going to be no salary boy for a bunch of nips. And I'm like, beautiful line of dialogue.
Glad you like that, Bobby. I'm glad that's the racist slur is what really stood out for you.
I like a off the radar racist.
Yeah.
One you don't think, it's kind of like comedy. It's about subverting where your
expectations.
Yeah. It's like, I forgot about nips.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
I consider nips those little caramel candies you buy at Walgreens.
Or Japanese people. So yeah, after Frank is like supposedly murdered by the mob, his family's murdered, he goes on a killing spree where read up is 5 years later, he's killed 125 gangsters, Goombas, in the last 5 years. It's a pretty good body count. It's a pretty good body count.
Pretty good premise. Pretty good starting premise.
Yeah.
Okay, so his ex-partner is played by Lou Gossett. And this is quite the trope. Like either the partner had died or he goes, they think he's dead for a while or whatever.
He's like the partner. He's the guy that nobody believes, a cop that nobody believes. It's hunting down the guy. They're like, that's not him. Whatever. He's like, no cops believe me, but I'm on it. But he's also like the gruff policeman.
He probably like his badge number has been written down a few times.
Written down more than once by the people, by his superiors.
Yeah.
He's an officer.
But
he's a gentleman.
He's so good that people just put up with him.
He's got a good look. He wears like a weird leather, big baggy jacket and pants.
I wish Carl Weathers could have played him though.
God damn it, Bobby.
Yeah, I like this character. I like that he is the ex-partner of Frank Castle, and what's interesting is they're both solo. They're both like one-man shows, right?
Yeah.
They used to be together, and then some lady that's like
a lady
graduated top of her class is really hell-bent on making Lou Gossett Jr. her new partner, and she says, I think I know who the Punisher is. I think it's Frank Castle, your former partner.
He's like, get in the car.
And he's like, meet me in my office at 9 a.m. or something like that.
He's like, no.
Now you have my attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you have my attention.
So this where we're at in the world, in the city they're in, is as Bobby was saying, the mafia has been basically wiped out. The Yakuza are muscling in. The big boss of the mafia, he went overseas 5 years ago, the day that Frank Castle's family was killed, mind you. That's that Franco guy, right? The guy with the kid. He was the man behind the man that killed Frank Castle's family. But he's been out of country, but he had to come back because all the Goombas got wasted.
That's what I was going to ask you, not to fast forward a little bit. So basically, this turns into the Yakuza are the new kid, the new threat on the block, right?
Because Franco, he left town 5 years ago and left his underlings to run things while he went back to the home country, right? But in that time, the Punisher showed up and just wiped out hundreds. So he has to come back, and while that's happening, the Yakuza are making a play, making a move to be the big shit pile in town.
What's the name of the head mafia guy?
Franco. His name's
Franco. Okay,
Johnny Franco.
So I was going to ask you. There does come a time when he and Frank Castle, the Punisher, have to kind of team up. Later on in the movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Had enough like degrees of murderous separation from his family being killed happen to where he could rationalize that.
Who, Frank?
Yeah, Frank and that guy that what's his name again? Frank and Franco. That should be easy enough. So Franco wasn't the guy that literally killed his
Dino
family.
Moretti, the guy he kills at the very beginning, he was the guy that killed his family. However,
but he's in bed with Franco.
Yeah, Dino Moretti worked for Franco. You know, like before Franco left, and this was in the deleted scenes, like
interesting.
Frank Castle shows up at the airport and is like, "You're coming with me." You know what I mean? Like they all know who each other are, and that's what made it so personal. You know, he kills a family, and then Frank's like, "I'm going to wear all black and just murder these guys."
I think that this could have done better if one, they had the logo, and two, they didn't cut out all that stuff.
Right. I think it was a pacing thing.
I put it together, but I was like...
But it does flesh it out a little bit more. But at the same time, there's always more Punishers better in my book, you know? But it is a tight 90. It would have taken
it's like an 89.
Yeah, which is a good 89 from 89.
We could have used another 10 minutes of origin exposition, but whatever.
Right.
For fucking non-nerds like myself.
So there's a lot in this movie of ninjas. Like people in ninja suits, frog suits, like killing other mobster guys. There's a lot of mobster guys just talking shit, like, "Hey, fuck your mother. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? Give me a bologna sandwich." That
you
kind
just
of
went
shit.
from fucking like Outback Australian to Goomba.
Like, "Hey, yo, give me that fucking braciole over there."
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on. And then there's a lot of the Yakuza.
Oh, we are the Yakuza.
It's so good.
This is how the Yakuza talk.
This might have been my first interaction with the Yakuza in media, but they have the best suits. All the guys in this movie are all wearing the best suits.
Well, it's interesting you say the word guys because you have one of the great femme fatale main villains of cinematic history.
Yeah.
An Asian lady that's the head, Lady Tanaka.
Lady Tanaka, played by the lovely Kim Miori, who you might remember from The Punisher and Metro with Eddie Murphy. But yeah, she's great. So she's the one in charge, and she's got like a mute white girl daughter.
Yeah, what is her deal?
She adopted her at birth. She was born mute.
Did they explain all this in the movie?
There's like a scene. There's like a throwaway scene where Franco's talking to his people.
I thought
about
she was gonna turn and fall in love with Frank or something.
No. She's not falling in love with the Punisher. Punisher's gonna kill her. She's guilty.
Okay.
She deserves punishment. But she had like badass like ninja star fucking earrings she would use and like blades on the side of her foot. So there's a lot of like badass ninja shit that happens in that movie. There's that little white shit.
Oh yeah, the earrings was a cool scene. If you're a fan of like stabbings and just general impalement, there's a lot of shooting too.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about the shooting scenes. He raids a casino with like an M60 that has a grenade launcher on it and just starts blowing away a casino. Later on, they go to a fun house where he's fighting ninjas, and there's a spinny thing he's on, he's shooting, and then there's guys like sliding down one of those big super slide things with machine guns shooting. Oh, it's so fucking badass. And then
there's a place you can do that in Texas.
Well, you can slide down
you
while
slide
shooting
down a
machine
slide
guns?
and just shoot a gun.
That's fucking
into
rad.
the distance.
I don't think there is, but I wish there was. And then there's the great scene of the top floor Yakuza fucking Japanese walls and people in Komodos getting mowed down with machine guns and motherfuckers getting impaled. It's got it all. It's great. It's fucking great.
Let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
Let's talk about another kind of origin throwaway Marvel movie. And tell me why you think, I'm assuming that you think The Punisher is better than this, but what about like the Wolverine movie where he goes to Japan and stuff?
That movie's dog shit.
Why?
It's just not good. It's just not good.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
we
there's
don't
like
have to dwell on that.
There's an overemphasis on bad CGI.
Okay.
Plot's not great.
CGI again. Okay.
The plot's not great either. It's not that great. Wolverine spent time in Japan. That show's badass. They didn't do that good of storytelling on it.
Okay.
And his James Mangold was disappointing because he did Logan, and Logan's so fucking good, but that one just wasn't.
All right. It's better than Wolverine Origins.
Yeah, he's definitely better than that shit. Fuck that movie.
Oh, let's get back to The Punisher for a second.
Punisher.
Okay, so again, what I like about this movie is the killings, killing sprees. Dolph Lundgren's a very good-looking man. He's got some bad one-liners, but it's kind of charming because it's the time.
It's fine. It's fine.
He goes, "Is this a multiple choice or true false?" when he's being interrogated on the torture rack,
Right,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
not erotic to me at all, by the way.
That's good. I think like I saw this on the internet, but I was thinking when I watched this movie, like there's at some point when they first start doing that shit would feel real good.
Oh yeah,
getting stretched.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm like just keep going. You know?
I went one of those like hot box things one time where you're basically like a veal. You just have your head and you're in a wooden box and it's just hot fucking lava steam.
Oh, that sounds
being
nice.
pumped like from the fucking lava.
Oh
spring
wow,
or whatever.
Wow,
thermal heat from the earth
heat,
and it's incredibly uncomfortable. But once you like stick it through, you're like, I see why I did that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm fucking. But that's kind of
your body hair off.
Yeah. Going to a masseuse is very similar to the torture rack in the movie.
Right. There's one scene where like the Japanese Lady Tanaka and her hot little mute chick. They're in there and they're
like
walking
a tight
out.
leather onesie on a woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
The zipper. I like that. I like the idea of that zipper just going. Zip.
Yep. There's a lot of stuff I used to watch in the early 2000s, porno where they had those latex and the zippers. Totally different story. So anyway, there's a scene where they're like walking out, and here's one of Frank Castle's great one-liners. He says, "Hey," and they stop and turn around. And he says, "Have a nice day." What the fuck?
Does he shoot him or anything?
No. But then right after that, he breaks out and he says, "Hey, come over here. I got something to tell you." And the Japanese guy walks up and he breaks out and grabs their gun. He says, "Sayonara," and fucking shoots
So
him.
one thing I got
badass.
to point out, as much as I compared the Punisher to a more violent Batman, which I still agree that he is in a lot of ways.
Oh, 100%.
Unlike Batman, in most canons, Batman kills no one. Or he lives by that code.
Sure.
The code that the Punisher lives by is kill everyone. That's guilty.
See, where that comes into play in the comics and in cinema or TV is Daredevil. Daredevil and Punisher have a long history of those two being at odds because they do both want the same thing, but Daredevil does have that rule. Like, Daredevil doesn't kill anybody. Like, Batman, there's weird timelines where he does, weird timelines where he doesn't. Daredevil doesn't kill anybody, right? He stops them. He's a lawyer, you know? But him and the Punisher come at odds because they both want the same thing. Well, kind of. Punisher just wants them all dead. He's great. He's fucking great.
Now, the Punisher lives in the sewer.
In this, he does. He's like...
I was going to ask, is that like he's an underground vigilante, like in... I guess in a movie it would make the most sense. I guess it wouldn't really matter, to be honest. Like, does he have like an apartment or? I
mean, in the Punisher Tom Jane movie, he does.
Okay.
And that storyline with his neighbors in the apartment is directly from the Garth Ennis comics.
Okay.
So he does have an apartment. I mean, I could see him living in the sewers. I'm sure there was times he did live in the sewers.
He didn't give a fuck.
I wish he had a battle van.
He has a cool shrine in the. He just sits naked in the sewers.
He just sits naked in the sewers meditating. He's like, I'm going to meditate. Another funny thing is while they're making this movie, the director and the producers didn't know that he was like a black belt in karate and shit. So they start doing these scenes.
How do you not know that?
Right. They start doing these scenes like, oh, wait, you're really good. And he's like, yeah, I'm a black belt. Like, we're going to add more of those scenes in. They're like, okay.
Yeah, it does have everything from shooting to chases.
Yep. Bus chases full of a bus full of orphans.
Yep.
Bus full of orphans.
Now we got to talk about this. So let's just rewind for a second.
Sure.
The
Yakuza's
comes
in town. They're like,
they're trying to take over, and by doing so, when the Italian Goombas aren't as cooperative, they end up kidnapping all the Goomba children,
all their children,
to potentially sell them into human trafficking,
into slavery. They sell them into slavery. Yeah.
If the Italian mob doesn't like concede
play ball,
whatever,
they don't give up their land.
So
and their power.
Frank Stallone has no choice. Frank Castle, the Punisher, has no choice because his alcoholic English friend in the alley told him, like, you still have, look, this is kind of your fault,
right?
Because there was a power structure in place here.
And you ruined that power structure.
You created the power vacuum, and here comes the Yakuza. Now you have to go protect your enemy's children from other evil people.
Right.
And he's like, fuck, you got me. And he ends up teaming up for at least a stint with
Franco. With Franco at the end. But yeah, so the kids get kidnapped, and Frank finds out their location and by beating it out of somebody or something. And he goes there to get him, or he gets captured. Then on his way out, after he says sayonara and blast the doctors, there's a scene with the guy in the torture rack, right? Mm-hmm. And it was weird. Like after he gets out and puts the doctor on the torture rack, the doctor was wearing high heel shoes, like red high heel, like women's shoes.
Yeah,
I was like, did we just miss that before? Did they just add that in for some? It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Asian men.
There's a trans joke in there somewhere.
There's a tranny joke somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
So anywho, he goes to rescue the children.
I do like the idea of like a quiet, stoic Japanese mafia man having to watch after the loud Goomba children.
Yeah. You're like, hey,
when are we getting our rigatoni?
Give me my rigatoni. Where's the prosciutto? And these Japanese,
they don't say that, but yeah, this is like, oh, like I wish there was like a spin-off movie, just like a bad family comedy where they get Ichiro Suzuko to play that guy in his career. It's like the mob sitter or whatever with Ichiro Suzuki.
That'd be great. That would be top notch.
Yeah.
Get AI to do it for you, Bobby. It all exists. They can do it right now.
And a wacky hijinks ensues.
You use a lot of water. So Frank the Punisher rescues all these children, and then they get on a bus that he stole, a bus, like a city bus. So there's a great bus chase scene. It's fucking awesome. I mean, there's shit getting shot. My favorite part of it is one of the bad guys is hanging on the outside of the windows, and two of the little kids are there plucking his fingers off, right? And so they pick his fingers off so he falls, and then it shows that guy getting run over by a car, and the little kids are watching, and they're like, yay, he got run over.
There's a lot of
so much violence.
There's a lot of dark
violence.
Dark things in this movie. Dark things. Because it is at face value, it is kind of a throwaway B action movie, but there are things like what you just mentioned. There is a scene. Well, should we just?
It's all on brand.
Should we cut to the? Well, first of all, there's a killing spree going on in the like headquarters of the Yakuza or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Frank partners up with Franco. The Punisher and Franco got to partner up because the only kid that's left after he does the daring.
Those guys were just practicing their samurai katana moves, and he just fucking plows them over.
He just runs through them and shoots them all. Well, they walk in. There's all these guys practicing katana moves.
I'm sorry, I don't care what martial arts you know. If you have a fucking machine gun, there's not much you can do about it.
Machine gun gives you the advantage every time.
Every time.
Every
Does
fucking
not
time.
matter if you're a fucking mystical ninja or not.
Well, and it's also like Frank Castle, who is just a harbinger of death.
Now is kind of the kung fu samurai sword thing, the Asian mafia thing. Is that because do you think they put that in the movie because it was kind of a thing in the 80s, the ninja thing, or is that element in the books as well?
What, does Frank ever fight the Yakuza? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's not, but that's the thing about the Punisher, right? Like what you're going to realize if you go read some Punisher comics, it's all bad guy of the week, but the bad guy of the week never makes a reappearance because he fucking murders them,
Right.
Like in the later stuff, like the Mac stuff, there's some villains like the Russian, you'll see. He was in the movie. Kevin Nash played him in the Tom J movie. He was a recurring villain. Barracuda, these are all Garth Ennis creations. Fucking great. I wish they put him in the show or the movies or something. But no, most of them, they just die. So seeing him
you might
fight,
as well reach into the Yakuza bucket from time to time.
Right, exactly. Which is great because
he fights the Portuguese mafia at some point.
It introduced me to the Yakuza. Who I was as a young child, didn't know about the Yakuza or how fucking awesome they were, or how great their outfits were.
They don't want the tattoos in Japan are frowned upon because it's affiliated with.
Oh yeah, I know.
Crime, organized crime.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. If I went over there, the Yakuza would either love me or they'd hate me.
I'll flip a coin on that one.
I think they'd love me.
You do well with the mob.
I do.
You do well.
I do. They love me. The mob fucking thinks I'm hilarious. So Franco and Frank Castle partner up to rescue the last child, Tommy. Tommy is the only kid that didn't know that his dad was really a mob boss, even though his dad is the biggest mob boss.
And he's Italian.
Right. I mean, your dad's an Italian man with money, obviously mafia.
Good fucking chance. Good fucking chance.
Like Luigi Mascarpone or whatever. Totally a rich kid. Totally rich. Mafia connected.
Oh, yeah.
So they go and they break into the Yakuza place. There's machine gun fights. There's people being impaled. There's a nice throwback to Big Trouble in Little China with a throwing knife to the head scene.
You think that was a nod to Big Trouble in Little China?
I don't know, but I'm glad that it exists in both of these films.
Yeah. Films.
And then Franco's like, I'm going to kill you, Punisher, because I got the drop on you. And the kid.
Hold on.
What?
I want to get to the dark stuff for a second.
Oh. Go right ahead.
The dark stuff. The first climax of the movie is
the first time it came.
Franco stumbles upon Lady Tanaka, and she's in full geisha garb, makeup, very creepy villain.
Oh yeah, she's
by
great.
the way,
She's
very
really
creepy. She's got the kid's neck with a knife to the neck of that kid. And she's going, get on your knees and put this gun in your mouth. And I want to make sure your son, like, she's like, no, you must watch so you can learn or something like that. So she's asking Franco to swallow the barrel of like a 38 in front of her son.
She's like, keep your eyes open. This is part of your education.
Yes, that's the line. Yes. And the whole time I'm going like, okay, well, this is very dark, but Frank Castle's going to jump in here at any minute now. And sure enough, he crashes through
a wall.
And how does he kill Lady Tenoch?
He what's his name? Lopanzer.
Yep, exactly.
He gives her a Lopan.
Exactly.
In the head. Yeah.
Okay, so this movie didn't have to get this interesting. Okay, so then
it stayed interesting the whole time.
Oh yeah. So then, the kid's like, well, he just saved you, but it's also the guy. Why at that point did he suddenly? No, Franco turned on him.
Yeah, Franco turned on him.
Even though they were kind of working together through this sequence.
Through the raid of the Yakuza compound, they were on the same
enemy
side.
Of my enemy.
Yeah, exactly. But as soon as Franco had the drop on him and his kid was safe, he was ready to kill the Punisher.
Yeah.
And then the kid stops him, and then they wrestle around with the gun, and the gun goes off, and Franco ends up dead.
Yeah, Franco ends up getting murdered
dun,
in front of his son, similar to what happened.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's part of his education.
Yeah, it's part of his education. But
don't look away.
And then naturally, the impulse of the child is to be like, I'm going to kill you, Frank Castle. He's just like, again, dark. He's like, fucking do it. Like, he gets on his knees and puts the barrel up to his forehead.
Do it now.
And then eventually the kid just breaks down and cries. And he's like, you're a good kid. Grow up to be a good man.
Yeah.
And I think at this point he's going to adopt him, bring him home to the family.
What, to the sewer?
Give him. Yeah.
This isn't Face Off. He's not just going to take the kid.
It's very similar parallels, though.
I don't know. I would argue that this movie is less cheesy than Face Off.
That's a fucking very valid fucking contention.
I would say so. This is a more serious film than Face Off is.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's
what
I would say
they
like
play it pretty real.
1989's The Punisher better than Face Off.
Like, it's not even like the action is over the top action, but it's not over the top for an action movie.
No, not for the 80s action movie. It's
like pretty
right
fucking,
on course.
It's pretty like
it's not hokey.
It's believable.
It is. The copy I watched on YouTube, it's like weird. Whenever people are getting shot in their blood, it like zooms in.
Oh, there's a lot of like low res cuts. In this movie, I noticed. Yeah,
but I think they were like adding the gore back in. I think that's
it's either
what
that or it's like they needed to fill pad time and just like put B-roll of old kung fu movies or something.
No. When there was the weird force edits or whatever you would call them, I don't know. It seemed like it was the gory parts when people were getting shot.
Maybe.
And so like maybe they
didn't upscale it. They just threw it back in.
Right. But hey, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like the gore is great. There's great squib work. There's people getting impaled on walls. It's fucking awesome. There's samurai sword fights. It's really a fucking badass film.
What happened to
car explosions?
What happened with the lady though? The lady cop that tried to team up with Lou Gossett.
She lived.
But like what was the point of her?
Just to have somebody for Louis Gossett Jr. to talk to.
Okay.
So that he would have a point there. Because otherwise it'd just been like Lou Gossett sitting there grumbling.
She was a dialogue exposition character.
Yeah, that's what she was there for. But then it ends with like Lou Gossett at the top of the building and Frank's escaped again and he's like, Frank! And then we're back in the sewer with naked meditating.
I love a title card at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
The opening titles are fucking amazing too.
Oh yeah. It was all 70s psychedelic.
Yeah, and it's like weird pictures of just generic bad guys. And then they start getting shot and like breaking into glass.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful.
That was a fucking props to whoever cut that opening sequence.
I stand by my assertion that this is like peak late 80s action movie. It is fantastic.
Yeah, Punisher or not, without the Punisher name.
If this wasn't the Punisher, it would be great. But because it is the Punisher, it makes it that much better. It would be a perfect movie if he had a skull on his chest. I mean, that would have made
I don't know. Perfect's the word there, but
for what it is.
It would have helped. It would have helped.
For what it is.
And then again, if they put a little more focus on what the fuck his like where he came, like the origin stuff. Like if you don't know, I'm just like I knew because I knew.
Well, but there are flashbacks.
Yeah, they're real fucking marginal.
It's just, but compared to the way they make movies now, Like that just shows
There's
you
like a whole movie of just the origin.
Right. No, let's just like the
I don't
Tom
wanna
Jane
watch,
movie.
I don't want to
was-
watch Sam Raimi's The
I
Punisher.
don't. Well, and that's the thing.
Maybe I would actually.
Oh, Sam Raimi's The
out
Punisher?
loud.
Yeah, I'd fucking watch that. But that's my problem with the Tom Jane one. It's like, okay, the first 20 minutes is his family in Hawaii. I don't need to see Roy Scheider as his dad that's going to die if he's going to kill him off. Like,
I think
skip that and let me see the Punisher doing Punisher shit.
I've definitely talked about this before, but the thing with those kind of movies, if you're going to franchise it, I prefer it when they get the origin shit out of the way in the first movie, and then they can actually tell a fucking story because we're done with it.
No Punisher movie has had a sequel.
No, I'm just saying in general, though. Like, I don't know, like X2, for example. The first X-Men's like, whatever.
Yeah.
X2's fucking like, we know who the fuck they are. Do something now. Don't just save Rogue from the fucking Statue of Liberty because Magneto's jerking off or something.
Right.
You know.
That's a really dumb plot.
It's a dumb movie.
It is a dumb movie.
It did not age well.
What is do you know what happens when a toad is struck by lightning? The same thing as everything else. Lightning.
What do you sound like Billy Barty and Willow?
I don't know.
The bones.
What if Billy Barty played Storm in the first X-Men?
That's what Halle Berry sounds like.
Yeah, it's
what
bad.
I just did.
It's not a good movie.
It's not.
Ryan-
X2 is fucking sick.
Bryan Singer, you know, that doesn't help either.
Right.
Doesn't help either. Oh man, Usual Suspects is so good.
It's so good. So good. So that was our episode tonight, folks.
You've been listening to Not For Everyone podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Pinball Bob. You can follow podcasts on Instagram at Not For Everyone Podcast. Von Art at Von Art 13 for Adam. FoxandSons.com. Fox, F-O-X, the letter N, S-O-N-E-S. Oh, S-O-N-S.com. Promo code NFE. Get yourself some coffee. Get you or loved one some coffee from Fox and Sons.
Love is in the air when it smells like coffee.
Happy Valentine's Day.